Hello everyone. I'm back with another lecture series for all the economics lessons in Cbse grade 10. So let's start with the lesson development. See, when we start with understanding the definition of development, different people have different opinions about what development actually is. And there are a lot of ideas about what a country should be looking like from the perspective of people regarding development. What are the essential things that we require? Can life be better for all? How should people live together? Then there are so many debates and discussions regarding whether a country should be going in a particular direction or the other way around. So let's understand from the lessons perspective of what development actually is. Any positive progress made from a previous time period can also be considered as development. And if you observe and if you talk to different age groups of people and people coming from diverse backgrounds, the definition changes actually. For them, development could be something altogether a different thing from one person to the other. Now, what development actually promises, and the goals of different people are actually different. Like for example, let's say a landless laborer in a rural area, his development goal would be to own a piece of land and to put his children in a decent good school. And uh, and for a girl who's coming from a countryside, her developmental goal could be something like treating equally alongside with her brother, and being able to pursue her uh, career in a particular university. That could be her developmental goal. And a farmer, like for say from Punjab, his developmental goal would be to put his children maybe in countries like Canada for higher education or for business purpose, something like that. So one thing we should understand is development is not same for everyone. It's different for different people. Then uh, and sometimes uh, development, like I said, development for different peoples can have different developmental goals. That's one. The other thing is, what may be development for one person may not be development for the other. The other thing is, in certain situations, development can be destructive uh, to the others. Like, let's look at this picture. A person owning a car, let's say a person like me owning a car, if he thinks that's development for him, but that's not development for people living on the roadside or working as hawkers on the roadside. That's not development for them, because the emissions that are coming out of that particular car may be destructive to this person through his through the breathing process. Then the construction of dam could be considered as development for farmers, but that's not the case for people living in that nearby area, because they may be rehabilitated, they may be forced to leave that place, right? So what about the livelihood uh, of these people who are forced to relocate? They might not know anything else. So then what? So a farmer thinks construction of dam could provide water for his farmland. That's development. That would definitely add to his developmental goals. But what about those people who are forced to relocate? So sometimes developmental goals are conflicting with each other. Now, since we've understood what is the basic about development, how do we actually measure this? Now, definitely for individuals, through income, right? Income is not just the only thing. Along with income, there are other things like equal treatment, freedom, security, respect, and there are many other things that come into the scenario. Now let's look at this with a case study. Let's say I'm offering you a salary of 2 crore per month. What is your reaction? Definitely the reaction that this gentleman is giving, right? Then let's look at the other conditions. You have to work for 20 hours in a day. How many of you would be interested now? Then the other thing is, what kind of food I would be providing? I would definitely be providing a mediocre quality food. Then what about mobile phone? Definitely that's not allowed. What about Instagram? Definitely not. Now I don't think most of you would be interested to work in such a place. Then what about colleagues? Definitely not. There won't be any colleagues. All that uh, is left is you alone to work in that particular place. And where is the location? Location is in Thar Desert. Now, would you be interested? Would you be interested without any proper food, 20 hours to work in a day without work-life balance? You don't have any colleagues. You don't have, any family time or mobile phone to use. Then what about uh, the working environment? Would I be providing an AC to you in that office? Definitely not. I would just be providing a table fan. So you have to deal with a lot of things like heat in Thar Desert. So would you still be considering my offer? I guess this should be your reaction. Now, so if I'm asking you to understand certain things as a fresher, you should be looking not just about income. You should also be looking at certain things like facilities that are provided to your family, working atmosphere or opportunities to learn, and then freedom, and then safe and secure environment. There are so many other things that you should be looking as a fresher, not just money. Money is one part of your life. I would not say that you should not be looking at money. I wouldn't say that. Money is an integral part of everyone's developmental goal. But there are so many other things to this beyond money. So I just mentioned all of those. Now, what about measurement of development for countries? There are multiple ways through which the development of a country or multiple countries can be done. One is through something called per capita income. How to measure the development of a country, how to look at the development of various countries in comparison, all this can be done through something called per capita income. Now, beyond per capita income, also there are other things, and these things can be put together under something called human development index. And under human development index or human development indicators, there are these certain things called per capita income, literacy rate, net attendance ratio, then life expectancy, gross enrollment ratio, and body mass index. All these can be clubbed together and put under something called human development indicators. Now, either you measure a country with per capita income or you measure a country with human development indicators. It depends on different situations and scenarios. Now, first thing, what is the thing with per capita income? Per capita income is the average income of a country per person in a year. Now, it's calculated by dividing the total national income of a country by its total population, and it is generally calculated in dollars. The reason why it's done is to make sure that every dollar would buy the same amount of goods and services in any country. So that's the reason behind this. Now, who measures the development of countries using per capita income? Uh, there's an organization called World Bank. World Bank measures the development of countries, or to compare using uh, per capita income, and they publish it through World Development Report. Countries with a per capita income of 63,400 US dollars or American dollars per annum should be considered as high income countries or rich countries. And this number I'm talking about is from 2023. And the countries with less than $2,400 American dollars should be considered as low income countries. And what about India? Where does India stand? India's position is in the middle income countries. India's per capita income is $10,030 per annum from 2023. Now, Is this per capita income real income? Look at the screen. There are, let's say, there are four people, each of them earning a salary of 8,000, 12,000, 30,000, and 10,000. Now, what would be the average income of all these four individuals? The average income would be calculated by adding up all the incomes of all the four people and then divided by 4. So the total would be 60,000 divided by 4, which is 15,000. And who's earning 15,000 here? No one. So this is per capita income. It's just an average income. It's not the real income. Now, so like I said, it's an average income. It's not the real income. That's the drawback of per capita income. Then the other things, to put under the perspective of development, to compare countries, should be the human development indicators. They are literacy rate, gross enrollment ratio, life expectancy, and many other things. Let's look at each of them. Literacy rate is something that can be understood through the number of people who are able to read and write at least in one particular language. So this is measured basically from the age group of 7 and above. And in India, we have the literacy rate of around 78%. That's the overall. And the male literacy rate is 84 to 85%, which is good. And the female literacy rate is also 70 to 71%. That's also good. So, and and this literacy rate is actually increasing every decade. If you look at the first decade after independence, the literacy rate was around 18%, and today we are at 78%, which is a significant growth. Now, the other thing is net attendance ratio. What is net attendance ratio? It's the total number of children of age group of 15 to 17 who are attending the school, as the percentage of total number of children in that same age group. So it's nothing but the number of children who are attending the school, and it's something, equated with gross enrollment ratio. So what is gross enrollment ratio? Gross enrollment ratio is the number of children who have enrolled in a school at the beginning of an academic year. Now, if you compare both, how many children have enrolled at the beginning of an year and how many children have attended the school at the end of the year, by calculating the number of days right from the beginning. So this should be the ideal way to understand certain things. Let's say the gross enrollment ratio is 50%. And if the net attendance ratio is 20%, which means 50 students of a particular age group have enrolled, but only 20 have come or 30 have come, which means it's not a good sign. So this is also used to understand certain things under development, under the category of development. Now, there's another thing which is very, very, very important. Infant mortality rate. Mortality rate is nothing but the death rate. So if in any country infants are dying, that is, the children who are less than 1 year, if they are dying, out of every 1,000 children who have taken birth in that particular year, if let's say 20 children have died in that particular year, which means the infant mortality rate is 20 out of 1,000 children who have taken birth, which is not a good sign. The ideal number, there's nothing like ideal number. I don't wish children to be dead, but if it's kept as low as possible, that's good. There are multiple reasons why infant mortality rates exist. Bad roads, when children get some diseases, something like that. There are remote areas where they do not have proper roads to even travel to the nearby hospitals. So in emergency cases, this could also lead to death rates. Then improper healthcare facilities, then illiteracy, and any other reason, and prevalent pandemics or anything could lead to death rates. And the other thing is life expectancy. What's life expectancy? A person born in a particular country, on an average, how many years is he expected to survive or live? That's life expectancy. In India, the life expectancy is around 72. That's a good number. But if you're looking at countries like Japan, the life expectancy is way higher than what India's life expectancy is. right? There are multiple reasons for that as well. Now, the other thing to measure development would be body mass index. What is body mass index? A person's height and weight, when they are calculated in a particular way, that's body mass index. I've given the formula also how to calculate the body mass index. It's uh, with weight, it's with weight divided by height square. So if a person's body mass index is below 18.5, he is considered to be underweight. If it's around 18.5 to 24.9, it's considered normal. If it's 25 to 29.9, it's overweight. And if it's 30 and above, it's obese. So these are the certain things to understand development through body mass index. For example, let's say the large proportion of population of a particular country has underweight category, which shows that the country is not really focusing on providing certain things. This could be because of high unemployment rates. This could be because of lack of public uh, you know systems like PDS. It could be for so many reasons. Now, so this is about the overview of understanding how to compare countries with respect to development. Now let's look at the realistic scenario of interstate comparison between Kerala, Haryana and Bihar. If you look at these two tables, the per capita income of all the three states are mentioned. Haryana's per capita income is way higher than Bihar, right? For obvious reasons. Haryana's per capita income is around 2,64,729. This is from 2021 to 22. If you can ask this question, why Haryana has a very high per capita income, the reason lies here with Green Revolution. In the 1960s, Government of India has started as an experiment to have Green Revolution in Punjab and Haryana. So the focus was more on increasing the output of agriculture. So that actually helped the farmers of Haryana to earn better, to earn more. So obviously the higher per capita incomes here. Now if you look at states like Bihar, what could be the reason for such low per capita income? Obviously high unemployment rates. There's a lot of jungle raj or hooliganism, then lack of focus on infrastructure projects from government, corruption. Governments have been participating in corruption. There are a lot of cases against all the chief ministers, and chief ministers had to resign multiple times, and all these things led to something called ignoring the actual needs of the state of Bihar. So which led to people living with high unemployment rates of the state, and this is also leading to something called migration. So that's the reason. Now if you look at the other table with the same three states, IMR, literacy rate and net attendance ratio are mentioned. And if you could see, Kerala tops in literacy rate, Kerala tops in IMR. See, the lower the IMR is, which is good. So it also has net attendance ratio, which is 94%. So what we can understand is Kerala has done very well in terms of human development indices. Even its per capita income is also decently good. So what are the reasons why Kerala was able to do very well in comparison with other states, and why other states could not do that? The main focus was public distribution system, primary health care, good roads, the focus or awareness on nutrition. So high number of schools. In fact, the school density is also high, the road density is also high. So all this has led to something called high human development index ratios or ratings. Now, so this was already discussed. So now let's look at India and its neighbors. How are the neighboring countries of India doing in terms of human development indicators? If you look at this particular tabular column, India's HDI rank according to 21-22 is 134, whereas our neighboring country Sri Lanka has a rank of 78. The life expectancy in Sri Lanka is also around 77, whereas India's is somewhere around 68. Now, this is one thing. And if you look at the mean years of schooling in Sri Lanka, it's around 11, whereas the mean years of schooling in India is 6.5. That is, on an average, a child is going to 6.5 years to school, whereas in Sri Lanka it's 11 years to school. That's a lot of difference. So these are all the other indicators that we should look at and try to understand. Now, now then, since we are discussing about development, how much development is actually acceptable? There are a lot of issues with regards to development. That's why this question comes up every now and then. There are around 300 districts in India which are seeing a lot of decline in terms of water levels in the last 20 years, and one third of the country is already overusing the groundwater. So this is another problem. The problem is majorly faced in Punjab, in the plateau regions, and some coastal states as well. Now, what about the oil reserves? Since we've discussed about water, we will also look at something called oil as well. Oil is essentially a significant factor for development. Now, what about the Middle East? Middle East is left with another 70 years of oil. What about America? America has around 10 years of oil left. What about the world average? World average has around 47 years of oil left. So one reason why America is getting into a lot of things like um, getting into Iran, getting into Venezuela, and capturing a Venezuelan president, killing Iran's president, is these two countries, Venezuela and Iran, there's something with high oil reserves. So that could be the reason. That could be one of the reason. I'm not saying that is the only reason. That could be one of those reasons why, since USA has only left with another 10 years of oil reserves. So oil becomes a critical resource in the future for wars or for various other things. So whichever country holds large number of oil reserves or oil shores, so that country would definitely be in the positive side of development. Now, for the problems like overusage of groundwater or oil reserves getting depleted, what is the solution? Solution is simple: sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Nobody says not to carry out development, but carry out development in such a way that that you're leaving certain resources even to the next generations. So that's sustainable development. We also have certain quotes like, we have not inherited the world from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from our children. This is an apt quote into this context. There's also one other quote that I'm leaving it for you to read and understand. So that's it from my side for this lesson. We'll meet in next video with the sectors of the Indian economy. Thank you.